Hi everybody, this is Patty Bennett. Thank you for joining me today. I am so happy you are here. We are going to be making some really pretty flower cards today. I don't know if you saw my blog post today. By the way, if you're watching live, today is July 26th. But I was explaining how I just wanted to get back to doing some floral cards because I had been doing a lot of other bundles and new products from Stampin' Up, and I just wanted to get back to flowers. So today we're doing flowers. So there you go. So if you're joining me live, you're going to see a red live button in the corner. But if you don't see that, I would love for you to just jump ahead a minute or two, because then you don't have to just wait for us to start. I always jump on a moment early to make sure that technology is working. And it looks like everything is good. So if you're joining live, please say hello so that I can see you in the comments. And we will get started in about 45 seconds, a minute, something around in there. But I'm so glad that you're here. Hey, Rosie, thank you for joining. I see there are lots of other people on, but I haven't seen comments yet. Oh, Kathleen, hello in Arizona. Hi, Margaret. Hello, Debbie. Oh, yes, you are welcome to copy these, to case these. That's why I share. They are all the same basic design. I'll share the measurements, but as you can see, I experimented with different colors. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. You can see I have my Stampin' Blend markers all ready to go. Hi, Darlis. Hi, Patricia. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that you're excited to learn a few tips, card making tips, coloring tips, design tips. I always try to provide lots of fun extra tips for you. Hello, Debbie. Thank you. I'm glad you like them. Thank you so much. So we're just barely at the top of the hour. I'm going to give everybody about 15 more seconds to find the live, and then we will go ahead and officially start. But thank you for joining if you are already here. I appreciate you. Hey, Randy. Hope everybody's having a good week. I have to tell you, it's so funny. I got all set up and I was getting everything ready. I was just about to push go live, and all of a sudden the blue jays in the backyard were going crazy. And I realized I had filled all the bird feeders, but I had not thrown out the peanuts for them. They like the whole peanuts that you crack. And so I had to race down the stairs, throw out the peanuts, race back up the stairs, and then my heart was all pounding. I was like, oh my gosh, that was so silly. But I didn't want them squawking through the entire video because you can probably hear them. Well, not right now because they stopped, but oh my gosh. Hi, Carol and Shannon and Lynette and Tammy. Hello, hello. Yes, thank you. Oh, I'm glad you like them. Oh, good. Shannon's looking forward to blending tips. Well, let's get started. So again, welcome everybody. My name is Patty Bennett and I blog at pattystamps.com. I have been blogging for almost 2 decades. I've got over 6,100 posts there for you at pattystamps.com. And I am a Stampin' Up demonstrator. So these are Stampin' Up products. If you don't have a catalog, or if you need a demonstrator and you'd like to purchase, you can do all of that at pattystamps.com. There is a request button for catalogs and there is a shop online button. All of the products we're using today are already on my blog post live today. Again, today is July 26th. And then the cards will be on my blog tomorrow, July 27th. So if you're looking for, I'm going to be sharing the color combos there tomorrow. If you're looking for any of that information or dimensions, that will all be on pattystamps.com July 27th. And if you're watching a replay, there will be a link. All right. Welcome. Not welcome. Congratulations, Debbie. 13 years with Stampin' Up. That is awesome. Hey, Jean and Holly, Lori, Denise, Christy, Corey, Jenny, a whole bunch of people just jumped on. That's awesome. Oh, opening ceremonies are on. I didn't even realize it was on right now, Jenny. Thanks for the reminder. Hopefully I can get watching some of that later today. Well, I want to show you the inspiration for the cards today. I received this beautiful card in the mail from one of my Love to Stamp group team members, Margie. It's not Margie. I had been calling her Margie, and I was wrong. It's Margie. So Margie, thank you. I loved this card. She used the Spotlight on Nature bundle. You can see that she used the floral image and the butterfly from this stamp set. And I loved the idea, just the simplicity, the black, white, the pink, just not a ton of layers, although you can see I went a little bit overboard. But anyway, we'll get to that. But I wanted to use this as my inspiration, but I really wanted to use my Poised Peony set from Stampin' Up, and so that is what I used. It is number 163529. Let me show you in the catalog in case you're thinking, oh, I love that, but where was that? Where did she find that? So it's in the beginning with the quick and easy section where we have memories and more and ephemera. And here it is. It's on page 28. And it's not a bundle or anything. It's just the stamp set. They do show it coordinated with the beautiful frames and flowers. And you can make really simple things with it. Like if you look at these two tags that are just simply stamped in a color and then you have a greeting stamped in a separate color, you could do really simple things with this set. And speaking of simple, part of the reason that I wanted to do this card today was when I had started the series that I was doing in June with monochromatic cards, July with analogous cards. Several of you commented that you liked kind of going back to the easier, the more simple, just a couple of layers. And I thought, okay, let's kind of dial it back a little bit. We've been doing some really amazing techniques lately with the masks and with watercolor backgrounds and spritzing and all these things. And I thought, let's just kind of dial it back and let's do fairly simple cards, but they look really beautiful. So that's why we're using this and just sort of doing it a little more simple today. Christy says, I feel like I passed right over that set 100 times, but I need it after seeing your cards. I'm glad you like it. Yes, Peggy. So Peggy said she'll do this using the butterfly set. Absolutely. You could do whatever you'd like. Spotlight on Nature. Yep, you can use it, Jenny. Anything that you would like. I patty-fied it. I like that, Tammy. That's cute. That is cute. So let's look at the parts and the dimensions and the supplies. As I showed you last week, one thing I love to do is get out the colors that I think I'm going to be using. So I pulled out, you can see my Stampin' Blends. I pulled out various shades of cardstock that go with those colors of Stampin' Blends so that I have options. I have to layer on top of the cardstock base, just your typical 4 by 5 1/4 white. And then I thought that I wanted to make these cards with the postage, the perennial postage die as this black layer, and then put, hang on, and then put my little stamped focal point on top. I liked it. I mean, I really liked it, but I felt like it was just like one step too bold. I wasn't sure. And so as you can see, what I did instead was I used a basic black deckled rectangle, and I put this same layer on top, and it was just, you can see, it's just like one notch down from this. So either way, or you could just cut a rectangle of cardstock if that's what you have. So those were the layers then, and then this layer is 2 3/4 by 4, and I want to show you why I did that. I always like to give you tips, and this is going to be a tip that will actually be in an upcoming video, cutting tips to get the most out of your cardstock. So when you have your 8.5 by 11, on the 11-inch side, if you cut it in half, you know that's 5.5 because most of us are usually cutting it in half to make 2 cards, right? But if you cut that in half again, that's 2 3/4. So where did my little, wait, it's here. I see it. Sorry. Okay. So like I said, this is 2 3/4 by 4. And I just figured that out by simply measuring what might make a nice border all the way around for this deckled rectangle. 2 3/4 by 4. So I want to show you a really easy thing that you can do. If you cut your 4-inch strip and then cut this one at 4 inches. Okay, so I have my 2 4-inch strips. Now, if I cut this at 5.5 in half, and then I cut that at 2 3/4, and I cut these two at 2 3/4, we now have 8 pieces. Okay, so we have 8 pieces. Sorry, I just almost choked myself. Okay, so we have 8 pieces, and this is our only leftover piece. So I love that it's not wasteful, and really with this, you can stamp skinny little greetings and then cut at an angle or cut a banner end. And really, so if you didn't want to waste anything, keep this. True confessions, I have a whole mug full of strips like this behind me that I reach for. So really, you wouldn't even waste a thing if you do that method, 2 3/4 by 4, and it'll layer perfectly on that. And as I was showing you before that I was going to do, this perennial postage, it layers perfectly on that. You have a little more of a border, but in an effort not to waste paper, there you go. That's how you would, well, that's how I would cut it. You don't have to cut it that way. That's how I would cut it. So I just wanted to give you that little tip. 2 3/4 by 4 or 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. Then you have no waste. And I love that. So anyway, there's my cutting tip. And then let's get on to stamping. And I'll show you what I did to save time. Oh, all my pretty colors. Love my pretty colors. You know what? I'll get back to the comments in just a second. I have a feeling comments are flying by, and I am so caught up in my tips here that I forgot to check. So I mounted on one block. Let's see, this is the E block, the greeting and the flower. So let's bring the card back in so you can remember what it looks like. And this was just a little time-saving tip so that I could stamp all 8 of my 2 3/4 by 4 inch pieces. Oops, sorry. I'm shaking the camera. I should be more gentle. I guess I'm a heavy stamper, inker, pounder person. Alrighty. So then you can just stamp all 8 of them fairly quickly. Sorry, I'll just stamp one more, but you get the idea. I'm not going to do all 8 because I don't want to keep shaking the camera. And it's Memento ink because we're coloring with Stampin' Blends. So we do need to have this ink that won't smear when you use alcohol markers. But if you do that to all 8 pieces and you die cut your 8 deckled rectangles, you are going to be ready to roll to make 8 quick cards. And if you cut, so this was the 4 colors that I pulled out that I thought would look good. So if you just take 1 sheet of each, cut them in half, there's your 8 card bases. So really pretty quick and easy to just get going with 8 different birthday cards. Or change up, you could change up the greeting. It doesn't have to be birthday, but it's in the set. Let me show you again. It's in the set. If you needed sympathy or thinking of you, you've got that one. Or if you just want it simple, you can do hello. That's kind of a nice default if you really are not sure what you're going to send the card for, or you don't need it right away. Hello works for just about anything. So it's a great set with very versatile greetings. All right. So let's color. Let's talk about coloring. You know, if you've followed me for long, that when oh wait, before I get to this, let me just check comments because I know there's a ton of them. Hang on 1 second. Let's see. Hey, Shirley. Oh, awesome, Connie. Thank you. I'm glad you're getting good ideas. Welcome, Joanne. I'm glad you are catching me live. Let's see. Welcome everybody who's joining. The black makes it pop. Yep, exactly. Exactly. Let's see. Oh, okay. Shannon likes the postage die, and either one works. Yes, Joanne, the deckled would make it a little softer. Exactly. The dimension of the black layer, it's just the die cut. So it's, I mean, I can measure them for you, but it's not, I didn't cut a size. So about 3 by 4 1/4 for that decal, and about 3 1/4 by 4 1/2 for the perennial postage. Alrighty, let's see. Yeah, never waste white cardstock. Exactly. Hi, Mary Ellen. Thank you for sharing. That's super sweet of you. Thanks, Jenny. I'm glad you like that paper cutting tip. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. So what I was saying was, when I use my Stampin' Blends for a project and I'm starting a new project, I pull out the colors I think I'm going to use. If you've been around here a while, you know this would be referred to as Patty colors, right? All the pretty Patty colors. It was like a tongue twister. So I have Melon Mambo, I have Pretty in Pink, I have Flirty Flamingo, Peach Pie, Lemon Lolly, and then for my greens, I've got Granny Apple, Lemon Lime, and Old Olive. And these will all be on my blog tomorrow. Like I showed you in the beginning, these little cheat sheets will be on my blog so that you can see those and copy them if you wish. So what I decided to do was swatch. I call these swatch sheets. I keep these if I end up liking the combination. So I swatched the colors, and I'm glad I did, because I didn't realize how close this Pretty in Pink and this Flamingo really are. This is a little more orange, but really, those are really close. And then this is kind of the in-between shade, and then there's the darker shade. And I hadn't realized that till I put them next to each other on a swatch card. So if you are wondering what's going to look good together, or what order is my light, medium, dark, this is a great way to do that. And it's a good visual. And especially when they dry, because you know how sometimes you start coloring and you're like, oh my gosh, that looks horrible. And then it dries a little bit and you're like, oh, that's beautiful, right? So I want to show you the one that surprised me the most. I think we'll do this one first. And this one is actually Pretty in Pink with Melon Mambo. And I think it turned out stunning. I hope it looks good on your view on the video. But I loved this combo. And then with the Melon Mambo cardstock base, oh my gosh, I just think this one super duper pops. This I thought would be my favorite, and it's beautiful, but it's a little bit more subtle. And this one is just the Flamingo and the Pretty in Pink, and then with the Pretty in Pink base. So kind of the same idea, but you can see what adding the Melon Mambo does. It really makes it rich and deep and gives it a lot more dimension. And then I always love a good yellow and orange, because this right here was my bedroom when I was like 12, and just can't get away from it. So the Lemon Lolly Peach Pie combo is beautiful on here. And then the Peach Pie cardstock. And we'll talk about this back layer after I color. So we'll stamp that and I'll show you how I did the border. But when I am doing a kind of a loose looking image like this, what I like to do is be very loose with my coloring. Let's see, this is the Pretty in Pink, I think. Yes, Pretty in Pink. Pretty in Pink and Melon Mambo. I don't like to spend a ton of time. I don't like to get super detailed, but by all means, you totally could. You could color each little petal. You could take tons of time and make just an absolute masterpiece, coloring in every little bit, shading perfectly, putting the shading where it goes. But do you see what I'm doing? I just dabbled on the light, and then right below it, I did the next shade, so the light and dark Pretty in Pink. And then I'm going to take the Melon Mambo. And when I did this at first, I was like, oh my gosh, I just wrecked this. This is crazy. I don't like this. But wait until you see when it starts to blend. So that's the light Mambo. And then a little bit of dark Mambo. And just loose, be loose. Just little dibble dabs and little spots of color. Okay? A little dark right down there. And like I said, I was like, oh my gosh, I ruined it. That looks crazy. What did I do? But when you go back with you kind of go backwards then from dark back to light and blend in between that dark and light area, then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. It just works. All of a sudden, it all blends and you have these beautiful shades. And I think especially with this flower, this peony flower, where you want it like a little bit fluffy looking almost, right? Peonies are kind of have that little fluffy look to them. I think this kind of dabbing motion really helps that. So I'm just adding a little bit of that mid-tone back in there, back with the light, and that's it. That's all I'm going to do to it. And isn't that just quick and easy? Just let it flow, just go with it. You know, it's only paper. If you ended up really not liking it, you can toss it. That's not the end of the world, right? And then I am going to use my Granny Apple, light Granny Apple, as my lightest color. And, you know, this morning when I was watering my garden, I always kind of make it a point to study the coloring and whatnot. There is not a single leaf out there in my garden or in nature that's just like all one solid color. And there are leaves that are, oh, I grabbed the wrong one, but that's okay. I added a little Granny Apple. That's all right. I was talking and I wasn't paying attention. Leaves have different colors, different shades, different tones. So you'll notice that the lemon lime is very yellow and bright. And then the olive is kind of a more dull red green. And it really adds the shading that you need to make this look just a little bit more realistic. Yeah, lemon lime is what I want. But I did add a little Granny Apple here and it's totally fine. It's really pretty. So again, just going back, blend in between the dark and the light. And that's all you need to do. That's all it needs. And it's just so pretty and so easy and so fun. And you get the darks and the lights and the different shades of green, the yellow greens, the red greens. And then my final step was flicking, because, you know, everything's pretty with flicking and it's cheap and it's easy. So may or may not be able to see that, but there's little speckled bits on there. And you know, it just occurred to me, wouldn't this be pretty with some Wink of Stella? So let's grab Wink of Stella. Oh, let me shake it first. Thank you, Patricia. Thanks, Diane. Thanks, Shannon. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, everybody. Oh my goodness. Debbie says it looks like her peonies. I wish I could grow peonies. I've tried, and they just aren't great in this environment here, this weather. Oops. Yep. I knew that. I knew that the minute I did that it was too much. I'll wipe a little off. So I'm just going to dab, keeping with that little dabbing. I'm going to dab a little bit of Wink of Stella right on there. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, so hang on. While it's out, we need to wink these as well. That's just gorgeous. It almost looks like a little bit of dew. Oh my goodness. Why didn't I think of that before? I'm going to leave that without so we can look at it at the end. But that is Melon Mambo, Pretty in Pink, Old Olive, and Lemon Lime Twist. Isn't that just beautiful, simple, easy? Super easy. But I think people would be really impressed if you made that card for them. So then we're going to do this background. This is what the background looks like. I just stamped around the edge because you don't need to stamp the whole thing because the middle is covered. So again, that's the 4 by 5 1/4, just your standard extra layer. And I used the smaller peony in this set. Not difficult, but just in case, if you're new to stamping, I'll just go over this with you. I find that it is easiest to just kind of walk yourself around the edge of the card, and I like to kind of vary it. You could just do the same image like, over and over and over. It doesn't have to be twisted like that, but I kind of like this. And then show you what I did for the borders. You'll notice on all of them that I have a border. So this is the only Stampin' Write marker that we sell separately, that Stampin' Up offers as a separate purchase. Everything else is in a color family. This is also, no, is it? Never mind. It's a separate purchase. This is not a Stampin' Blend. So this is not the same as this. If you have the black Stampin' Blend, and hang on, I don't want to knock over the camera, but if you have the black Stampin' Blend, it does have a tip that you could draw with. So you absolutely could do the lines with that end if you want to. I'll just compare just so you can see. It's a little bit thinner. I do like the Stampin' Write marker, this nib better, tip, end, I don't know, whatever you call it. I have a box full of old drafting triangles because I don't know if you know this about me, but I have been taking drafting classes. Well, I mean, I took them starting at the age of 11 in junior high. Back then in 1971, I had to get permission from the school board to take drafting classes because they did not understand why a female would want to be in drafting. Well, I wanted to be an architect since I was like 3 years old. That's why I wanted to take drafting, but they didn't really understand that. So anyway, I went through several years of school for architecture. Long story short, I decided I wasn't creative. And, architects have to create. They have to be the one that has the vision to design your building, your home, your shopping center, your mall, your hotel, whatever. And I decided I wasn't creative. And so I switched from architecture into structural engineering because structural engineering is very cut and dry. It's black and white. There's no right or wrong. Either your building stands up or it falls down. There's only 2 choices. So I liked that world. And so I did that for 19 years. I was in the structural engineering world as a drafter. So anyway, my point is, all those years of drafting, I have a box full of triangles and all sorts of drafting implements. And so I still use them, and that's what I use for this. You can get a drafting triangle on Amazon. You can get them at Staples, or you can just use a straight edge. But the tip for this is, and I know you're not going to be able to see it, and so it's almost a moot point to try to show you this, but this is a little beveled edge. And the reason it's important is when you are drawing your line and you move this, it doesn't suck the ink. It's not touching. So you have that little air gap. And that's why I use this. So if you use something flat, like a ruler that's just a flat piece of plastic, and you draw a line, have you ever had that happen where you move it and it like streaks the line? So that's why I use a drafting triangle. Okay, sorry. That was just like a super long explanation. So sorry. Anyway, so what I do is I just draw around the 4 edges, leaving that little gap. It's maybe, I don't know, around 1/8 of an inch around the edge. That's not a magic number. You can do whatever you'd like. And if this turns out good, I'm going to be impressed because I can't really see through the camera here that's recording. So I'm doing this kind of from farther away than I would like, but we'll see. I hope this turns out relatively well. I think it did. Ta-da! It did. Now, where did I put the lid? Here it is. So that is my layer for the background, and this will get layered with our deckled rectangle and go right in the middle. And then if we just look at our pieces that we pre-cut, I actually think the flamingo, even though we didn't use flamingo, I kind of think this might look really pretty. On the original sample, we have the mambo. So let's kind of glue these pieces together and then see which of the two we like. And, you know, maybe it doesn't hurt to make it a little bit different, right? We don't have to have it completely matchy, matchy, matchy. Oh, Hobby Lobby has drafting tools. That's awesome to know, Robin. Thank you. I'm just looking at comments over here. Debbie would draw the square first. First of what? Like, do you mean before you stamp it? I'm not 100% sure what you mean, Debbie. Hi, Kathy. We're just sort of finishing up our card here. I hope if you're just joining in, I hope you will watch the replay. Oh, good. I'm glad you like the coloring technique, Kathleen. So I'm going to use my foam adhesive sheets. And you don't need a solid piece behind this part that's popping up. In fact, if you use a completely solid piece, it's going to make it a little bit too rigid. I think the whole card feels really rigid. So I like to just do strips like this. Now, sorry, I'm going to pull it towards me so that I can look down on it and get this centered. Okay. All right. So there you see, I only had to stamp around the edge because the middle does not show. Oh, good. Thank you for watching the replay. That'll be great. Thank you. Oh, yes. Sorry. Poised Peony. I'm sorry I missed that question, Margaret. Let me show you again. There's the stamp set, and it is on page 28 in the Stampin' Up! Catalog, the annual catalog. Let's see. Oh, Debbie, thank you. I would love that if you would order this. That's so kind of you. All right, so let's see. So here is the Melon Mambo that I used on the original sample, so we know what that looks like. But I just want to kind of see. It's so interesting when you layer the Pretty in Pink and the Melon Mambo together, it almost creates Flirty Flamingo. There's this orangeness to it. And so I just thought that would actually look really pretty. What do you think? Do you like kind of this a little bit softer look, or do you like the bolder look? I really like them both, actually. I think they're both kind of pretty cool. I think if I were to go with this one, then I would pull in these dots, which would go perfectly with the flamingo, and that would help, you know, pull that color in a third time. Likes them both, likes the pink better. Flirty Flamingo. Cat likes them both. Anita likes them both. You all okay? Flamingo. All right, okay, I see lots of flamingo votes. Let's do this one in flamingo, and that way we have a little bit different of a sample to just compare and to look at and to enjoy. And I'm going to make the rest of the 8 of these because I need some more customer thank you cards. So actually, this afternoon, I have to make my husband's birthday card because his birthday is Monday, and I need to make him a card. And I'm super contemplating coloring the bistro burger because I've been dying to use that set, and I haven't used it yet. And we love to go out for burgers, and so that's what I'm thinking about using, is the bistro burger. I actually set it aside. Let me show you something that I was thinking of using. So this new online exclusive iconic imagery, I was going to stamp Celebrate like all over the back of a card, and maybe do a couple of these little lollies that you make with this, and then the burger. But then I'm like, I don't know, that is a really weird combination of products, but we'll see. I'm going to play with it and we'll see. So here's the difference with, on the left, the Mambo cardstock and the green dots to kind of keep it a little darker, a little more grounded. And this one has the Wink of Stella and the flamingo, and it's a little bit lighter look, even though they were colored exactly the same. So kind of fun, right? That you can get a different look depending on what color cardstock you pair it with and what gems you use. I had used these green gems, transparent dots on this one. These would also be great because they match the lighter green. And then I also had pulled out my resin dots. So several of these colors will look great with these cards as well. So let me just take a break 1 second here and see if there were any other questions. Oh, Shannon needs this set. Oh, good. Margaret ordered the set. Bistro burger is the best. I know, Shannon. It's so cute. Okay, do the burger. All right. What do I do with all the cards I make? Every single one of them goes out to customers for customer thank yous. I send 40 to 50 customer thank yous every week. And so that's why you often see me make multiples of things. And so when I cut for something, I usually cut and make at least 24, if not 48 or 60 of something at a time, so that I can send them out. So I have 0 leftover cards anywhere, Shannon. Let's see. Oh, hi, Shan. Welcome. We just finished the card, so I hope you can watch the replay. Hi, Nancy from San Rafael. Thanks, Susan. I'm glad you like it. So, should we do another one, or are you done? Are you like, no, I get it. I don't need to see this again. Let me know in the comments. Do you want to do one of these, or are we good? Are we done? I'm happy to keep going, or if you're like, it's lunchtime, I think I need a break, that's fine as well. Let's do another. Do yellow. Okay, Debbie says, love watching you. Oh, thank you, Debbie. She said that my cards are appreciated. Thank you, and I appreciate your orders. Anita says, keep going. Okay, well, let's keep going. Let's do another one. Let's do it. I'm good with that. So let's color. So somebody said do the yellow. And so my yellow one was peach pie and lemon lolly. And like I said, this was so seriously my bedroom when I was 12. I'm sure it was much to my dad's dismay because he was probably hated this color combination. But I loved it, and that's what I wanted in my room. And then I painted the closet doors a deep chocolate brown, and I have a feeling he probably was super upset about that as well. He didn't show it, he didn't say anything, but I can just imagine he was like, "Are you serious?" He was probably thinking, do you know how many coats of white paint it's going to take to get the to look not brown in the future? I mean, it was really dark. It was like early espresso chocolatey brown. Or like, does anybody remember chocolate chip when we had chocolate chip? It was like that. Oh my gosh. Oh, my poor dad. I must have really tormented him. So I just went from light lolly to dark lolly, light peach to dark peach. Now I'm going to go backwards, and I am just going to blend a tiny bit with the dark lolly. And I forgot to mention when I did this one a few minutes ago, I want you to just look for a second. Do you see the little white spots that I left? I achieved that by doing this dabbing motion that you were seeing me do. And I think that the flower looks much more realistic, especially a peony, because a peony has those little kind of ruffled, almost like carnation edges to it. And it's going to catch the light. You're going to see different parts of the flower. The little white spots, in my mind, really help make this look a little more realistic. And so that's why I'm leaving little white areas. So just in case you're yelling through the phone or the iPad or whatever you're watching on, and you're like, you missed the spots, you missed spots. That was on purpose. Okay, I just added a little more dark. We're going to let that kind of seep in, and I like to say it like melts. It almost melts together, right? But it blends together. And then my lemon lime and granny apple. So here's granny apple and lemon lime. I just personally love the super bright, I miss Parakeet Party, but I really love these super bright greens much more than the dark. But if you want to go darker and you just want to make this like olive and maybe even shaded spruce, you could do that. You can use any colors that you love. Again, just that little kind of dibble-dabbling motion. That's kind of my favorite way to color. I don't feel like everything needs to be colored in super solid. You can blend back out with a little more of a coloring motion. But just to get those lights and darks to look a little more realistic, that's all I do. Super simple. And since we had that Wink of Stella out, I really think we need to add that to this one. So pretty. And we will, let's see what dark lemon lime. Oh yeah, so cool. Oh, so pretty. Love it. Okay, dark lemon lime speckles. Do you see the speckles and the Wink of Stella? Isn't that easy? So easy, so pretty. And because someone will ask, and I apologize if somebody already asked and I missed it. Every time I do a Stampin' Blends video and I have my markers ready for my video in this little tray, the tray gets more questions and more comments than the project. So let me just tell you what it is, because that way it's on the video. So these trays I purchase on Amazon. I'm just going to write down. This is the brand. It's Story, but it's STOR and then a little I. And if you look up that on Amazon, Story Drawer Organizers, you're going to find these in tons of sizes. Hang on, I'm just grabbing another one. So I have stacks of these in all different sizes. And they are so great for organizing your supplies for a project. Or like in this case, I have all of the blends ready for this video. Just put them there. I don't store them this way. So don't store your markers at an angle. Can you see how it, oopsie. Oh, well, that was, oh, please hold. Anyway, do you see how, good heavens, do you see how these are at an angle? It's just because of the size of this tray. I've got them ready for the video. I don't store them at an angle. It's just for the video, okay? And I've told this story before. The reason I got these years ago was because my husband was organizing his great big, huge, you know what? We'll do one with this one. Sorry, I'll continue with the story, but I'm just thinking, let's do one with this so you can see the difference. My husband was organizing his great big, huge tool chest that he got a few years ago. And he said, I need organizers for inside these huge drawers. And that's when we found these on Amazon. And after he got a bunch of them, I said, excuse me, I need some of those. And so I bought myself a whole bunch of different sizes, and I'm so glad I did because they are just so handy and they stack, and they are great if you do events or classes. You can organize your supplies in them. You know, one bin for every table or project, or if you want your ink pads and your stamps in one, like whatever. They're fabulous for organizing your supplies. And when I'm working on lots of projects at once, I really like to have a bin for each project, and then I can just stack it behind me by my die cutting machine. And then that way I can just pull out a project bin when I'm ready to get working on that. Alrighty. So let's see. Yes, they're great for classes, Connie. Absolutely great. Thanks, Robin. She likes the variations I come up with. That's nice of you. Thank you. Is it Regina? It's a beautiful spelling. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I love your name. Good. I'm glad you are more confident with your blends coloring. That makes me happy. Makes me very happy. Okay, and then we'll look at those colors. So I think on my original, I did use the peach. I'm going to grab a piece of daffodil or lolly, and I'm just going to see how that might look. I'm just curious. This is daffodil. Ooh, that's really beautiful. The yellow and black. Wow, wow, wow. You know what? We'll make this one different. Let's do that. I'm going to grab... I don't have a piece cut for a card base. Oh, wait. Score first. Let's do that. I really think this is pretty. I don't know. Kind of looks like a taxi cab. The yellow and black, but I love it. I love this combination. Yellow and black is a great combo. You can't go wrong, right? Can't go wrong, right? Oh, that was funny. So this one will just be a different version, which is fun, right? And I'm wondering if I will like this peach in the resin dots. Yes, I do. I'm going to do the peach. Yep. Oh, that is super duper pretty. So let's look at the difference then. The left one is on the peach cardstock. The right one is on daffodil, but they were colored the same. And it gives it a little different look. You can see how much more bold the perennial postage die looks than the deckled die. It's a totally different look, isn't it? I love them both. I really do. Let's just put these cards out that we did today. You guys are also sweet to just hang out while I color and kind of feed my crafting soul here. So pretty. Look how gorgeous. You could just make a rainbow of these and put them in a box with envelopes, and then you could give these as a beautiful gift, couldn't you? Thanks, Margaret. Thanks, Bev. I'm glad you like the daffodil. Thanks, Susan. Thank you, Debbie. Thanks, Kathy. Oh my goodness, everybody. Thank you. There's so many comments. Yes, Shannon. I love that bold look as well. Let's see. Stacy. Yeah, pops on the daffodil. Definitely. I love that, Faith. Yes, the black and the daffodil. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's a great combination. Let's see. Where did I get the wide definition strip? Oh, so that's what I was showing you before. These are the adhesive sheets. I had cut one sheet in half, and then I was just cutting like this. So I cut 4 strips to go on the back. And these come in a pack. Let me grab a pack so I can show you what it looks like. I use these in just about every single video, the foam adhesive sheets. So they come in a pack like this. And I have about 2 or 3 packs open on my desk at all times because I use them like water. And I love them so much more than putting like 15 or 20 dimensionals on the back of something like that. It's too much picking off of the dimensional things. I love the foam adhesive sheets. Let's see. I'm just scrolling back. Oh, good, Rosie. I'm glad you could join us today. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. I am so glad you enjoyed this. Hi, Kimmy. Thank you, Renee. Thanks, Pat and Anita. How do I decide on which greens? So kind of as I was explaining, Debbie, when I look in my garden, I see such a variety of green, and I think that every leaf has more than one green in it. So I will pick a couple of greens that go well together. So even though you might think olive being very yellow, it's almost like a red green with a, I don't know, it's olive. Like, what are you going to say, right? If you wanted to do this and then pair it with mossy meadow to go even darker, that would be great. Or if you want this to go darker, you could add shaded spruce. You can do whatever you'd like, but that's where these swatch cards come in so handy. And so you're asking, how do I decide? I use the colors I love best. That's how I decide. I mean, it's very simple. I use what I love best, which is lemon, lime twist, and granny apple. But then I felt like it needed a little bit darker, so I added a little olive, and that's how I decide. I just go look at nature, I get ideas, I make my little swatch cards, and then I just go for it. These scissors are just from Staples, and True Red, T-R-U-R-E-D. That's what it says right there. They're Teflon, and so they never get gunky, ever. I've used these for years with adhesive, and they never, ever get gunky. You never have to clean them, and that's what I use. I would never use my good paper snips or the snips I use for ribbon. Oh, thanks, Shannon. I should be an elementary school teacher. Well, I volunteered enough when my son was in elementary school. I probably could have gotten a teaching credential, but I would rather stamp and teach you stamping. So there you go, Shannon. You're stuck with me. You're welcome. You're welcome, everyone. I'm so glad that you like these. Oh, good. Kat's been using the foam adhesive sheets. Oh, yeah, they are just awesome. I buy like 10 packs at a time, especially on free shipping day, right? Well, thank you. Thanks, Randy. Thanks, Debbie. Thank you, everybody. I am so glad that you could join me today. You are all so kind to spend some time with me. And I hope that you enjoyed the tips today. I hope that you'll grab, if you don't have this set, you can use a different set that you might have. Thank you again to Margie for the inspiration for this card. And I will see you all next week for, I don't know, we might be coloring the bistro burger if the card for my husband turns out well. We might be doing that. So we'll see. I feel like more coloring needs to happen here today. So that might be the agenda for next week. But anyway, hope you all have a fabulous weekend, and I will catch you all next week, everybody. Bye-bye.